Good afternoon, student. This video content is the first part of the chapter Federalism, Class 10, Subject Social Science. Student, in the last section of the previous chapter, which was power sharing, we discussed the four types of power sharing arrangement, if you remember, or four forms of the power sharing arrangement, in which the second form of power sharing was the vertical division of power, where we made our discussion that power is shared among different level of the government, like central government or union government or federal government, you can call it, or on the other side provincial or state government. In this chapter, student federalism, we will continue to move with the vertical division of power, which is one of the feature of the federal structure. In this chapter, we will also try to understand that how India is a federal country and how the federal structure of our country, India, is different than the other federal countries existing in world, especially America, where the federal structure is of different nature than compared to India. So let's begin from the very first part that your book is addressing, that is, what is federalism? Student, if you remember, in your previous chapter power sharing, we took the case study of two countries, Belgium and Sri Lanka, and there we could conclude that Belgium could successfully get over the problem of diverse ethnic composition by making a very good power sharing arrangement. If you remember that between 1970 to 1993, they made 4-time constitutional amendment, and every time effort was made that more and more sharing of power can take place to satisfy each and every group existing in the country. But on the other side, Sri Lanka could not get over its problem, reason it was not willing to do the power sharing arrangement. Here in this chapter, student, we are taking the same example of Belgium and Sri Lanka, but in a different perspective. So let's recall what we discussed, that Belgium was the country which was very small one, and there after the 1993, when the 4th-time constitutional amendment was made, a government power was given into the two set, the central government, and some of the power were given by the constitution, by the law, to the regional government. It was not that before this constitutional amendment there was no two set of the government. There was. Even before the 1993, even before 1970, there was two set of the government, but only thing that the power which was derived, which was given to the provincial or state government, was determined by the central government. It means the state government or provincial government was the subordinate of the central or federal government. Most of the power were coming from there. So you can say in 1993, Belgium shifted from a unitary to a federal form of government. Student, what is there, unitary and federal? There are two different set of government. Both are democratic in nature. In the coming section, in the coming slide, we will discuss that how unitary and federal are different. But for the time being, you must understand that in the unitary government, there is only one set of government, and unitary government can have its power distributed to its subordinate units working in the different province or the states, but these power can be taken back at any time. But somehow, when Belgium has shifted from unitary to federal form of government after making the constitutional amendment, this has made a very good sharing of the power, which kept people satisfied in a longer period of time and made Belgium a country where there is no ethnic problem or problem of civil war like what existed in Sri Lanka. And as you can understand, Sri Lanka continued to be, for all practical purpose, a unitary system. Unitary system means that here the government of the country has taken the decision unilaterally if any power was given, it was given by the central government. There was no constitutional arrangement made for the provincial or state government. So all the power were given to the state government at the mercy of the national government or the central government. So on this basis, we can say that power sharing arrangement in the terms of vertical division of power determine that how much sharing of power, what degree of power has been shared between the countries. In the case of Belgium, the sharing of power is remarkably very good, and in the case of Sri Lanka, it is not as good. Therefore, we can say that federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. A federation has two levels of government. It may be more than that. In India, it is three level of the government, that is called three tier of the government. But we shall discuss about India in the coming part of the chapter. You must understand that in the federal form of government, there is always two level of the government. Both derive their power, both set of the government derive their power from the constitutional authorities. That is, let us take in what is mentioned over here. One is the government for the entire country, the central government, or it is also called union government, or it is also called federal government. It is for the entire country, that is usually responsible for a few subjects of common national interest like defense, like currency, like dealing with the nearby countries. Many other issues can be added. And the other are the governments, other means the provincial or state government at the level of dealing the issues of that particular state or of that particular province. Both these level of government enjoy their power independent of other. That's the most important aspect of federalism. In the previous section, in the early part of this chapter, as I said, that Belgium had the provincial government even before 1970. But at that time, provincial government was subordinate to the central government. It's all the power were coming from the central government, and central government could have taken any time their power back. But now, under the federal structure, now after having made the constitutional amendment in Belgium, all the powers are derived by the one source, that is constitution, where clearly it is mentioned that which authority, which area of jurisdiction, which jurisdiction is belonging to which set of the government. So in the sense we can say that federation system are contrasted with unitary government. You must be very clear whenever we discuss. Student get the kind of impression a student get that unitary is not democratic in nature. So student make it clear, no, unitary and federal both are democratic in nature. Only thing is that federalism is more democratic in nature because it makes the provision that subordination do not remain between the central government and state government. Both without the interference of each other can enjoy their share of power. That is how, student, for helping you to better understand, I made a slide to make a comparison. Go through this federal government and unitary government. So in federal government, there has to be minimum two level of the government. There has to be minimum two level of the government. It can be more than that. Like in India, we have central government, we have state government, and we have also local government. But in the unitary government, there exists only one level of the government, that is national government or central government. It can have provincial or state government, but these government derive their power only at the mercy of the national or central government. Political powers is shared between the two level of the government in the federal structure. It is your second point in this. Look at the slide. Political power shared between the two level of government, and like the case of India, it is shared between the three level of the government. And in the unitary form of government, political power is held by only central government. No other authority can decide what power has to be given to the subordinate government or the provincial or state government. Third point is that in the federal government constitution is very rigid and codified, which is meant to ensure democratic right. You must understand that if constitution is rigid, central government cannot make any changes unilaterally and can start dictating its term on the state government. So that is one of the more democratic feature, more democratic in nature, which exists in the federal form of government. In unitary government, constitution is very flexible and uncodified, so anytime central or national government can take the benefit of changing it to the best of the suitable condition as per the requirement. There is the last point in the federal government that two different types of law exist. Yes, in your country, in the coming part, you will find that we have union list, we have state list. The matter, we have also the third list that is called concurrent list, but in union list all those matter are categorically mentioned in the constitution that these are the area in which central government will make the law. Similarly, in the state list, those areas are given to those areas are mentioned in the constitution on which only state government can make law. So you can say that in a federal structure, the government, in a federal structure, government work in a more democratic manner. Moving to another slide, student. Along with this, there is another issue what has been addressed, that is on the very first page, map of the world has been shown over here. Here you have been shown number of countries with the red color where federal structure exists. Down there it is mentioned that 25 of the world's 193 countries have federal political system. Their citizens make up 40% of the world's population. I would suggest you, if it is not clearly visible to you, you go through your textbook. I have taken this picture from the textbook itself. So this red color is showing some of the big countries like Russia, Canada, United States of America, Brazil, India, Australia. But also there are some small countries existing like Germany, Belgium, Austria, Spain, Nigeria, even Malaysia. You can see that red spot is very small in size, showing that a general perception has been made that federal structure is normally exists in the big country, because running a big country only by one set of the government is a very difficult task. That is why in a big country we need to have a number of government working at the different level. But student, through this map you can find that even in the small country, the best example is Belgium, what we discussed little earlier is Belgium. You studied in the chapter power sharing that it is as small as our state Haryana, but even then it has a federal structure, because it is not the only criteria that if country is big then only we can have federal structure. Another criteria could be there that if we have willingness to make our work more suitable, more organized, then there can be more than two set, or the minimum two set of the government should be there sharing the power at the different level. So we can say, your book is asking most of the large countries of the world are federation. Can you notice an exceptions to this rule in this map? Yes, it is visible. I discussed with you that how number of small countries even can have the federal structure. Make the point clear. There is no hard and fast rule that only and only big countries will have the federal structure. Even a small country like Belgium, like Spain, like Austria, like South Africa and Malaysia can have the federal structure.